You may have heard about the federal program where local police are able to acquire old military gear. That has some asking if there's too much militarization of local police. Fox 11 Investigates dug into the data, and Robert Hornacek is here this morning with what he found. Good morning.
Good morning, Rachel. You know, this is the data that we sifted through over the last week or so, and we found a couple things stuck out to us. First, there's a lot of old military equipment coming to local police, and it's not just armored vehicles and weapons. And we found that some small departments in northeast Wisconsin are some of the biggest users of the program. This is the Townsend Police Department. The entire Townsend Police Department. What the small town force lacks in manpower,
this is our command center.
It more than makes up for.
This is just one of our semis.
In horsepower.
We utilize this piece of equipment in the spring through the fall almost monthly.
Humvees, SUVs, semis, all former military vehicles that are now police vehicles. It's part of what's called the 1033 program, where old military equipment is transferred to local police. All the local department has to pay for is shipping. While Townsend does not have any armored vehicles or high-powered weapons, the small town is one of the state's largest users of the program. So how much military equipment does the Townsend Police Department have? Well, since 2012, the department has received more than 60 different types of equipment from the federal government, including 10 different vehicles. Total value of all this military equipment, more than $888,000.
This generator here is a 100 kilowatt generator.
Nick Ashbeck is chief of police in Townsend. He says this generator is a perfect example of how the program works. Earlier this month, storms tore through Townsend, knocking out power. Town Chairman Bruce Caro says thanks to one of the town's 3 military generators, emergency crews stayed out of the dark.
So we had access to everything that we needed when the whole rest of the region was out of power.
Would Townsend have that generator if it weren't for this program?
Probably not.
Ashbeck, who also serves as the Wabeno police chief, says all of this equipment is shared by agencies throughout the region.
If we had to pay dollar for dollar what a piece of equipment like this is worth, chances are our small agency and departments, again, would never be able to obtain a piece of equipment like this.
The area's search and rescue team has more than 100 people on it, and Ashbeck says all of them have access to Townsend's stockpile of military gear. It's not just the 2 police officers. What do you say to people who would question the amount of equipment Townsend has?
What I'd say is that the equipment that we do have, we do utilize. And just to have equipment in our arsenal here to use for search and rescue, for police work, is a huge cost savings to the taxpayers.
That's outrageous. It really is.
Richard Perrins from the Brown County Taxpayers Association doesn't buy that.
I think they saw this huge opportunity to get a lot of stuff for nothing, and they took advantage of it.
Now, Townsend is not the only small department taking advantage of this program. Coming up tonight on Fox 11 News at 5 and 9, we'll hear from a small department in Brown County, and we'll find out how much gear they have and why they say the program makes sense. And if you'd like to check out how much military gear your police department has, we've posted the entire list on our website. Just go to fox11online.com and click on the Investigates tab.
Yeah, that list is long. That's a lot of data you had to go through.
Yeah,
how big is this program?
Well, you know, since 2012, there have been about 85 different police agencies in Wisconsin that have participated in this program, and they've received equipment that's worth more than $22 million. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg. This program started all the way back in 1990 by the federal government, and since then they've transferred more than $4 billion worth of this equipment to local police.
And how much does this program cost us, the local communities?
Well, in one sense, this is equipment we've already paid for because this is old military equipment that the military is no longer using. Now, communities do have to sign up and pay $500 so they can get access to this program. Again, it's only open to law enforcement. And after that, the community really just has to pay for shipping or transportation of the vehicles, for example. So the departments are really getting all of this equipment at a fraction of what they would otherwise pay for it. Critics say, do they really need all this stuff? They have to pay for maintenance. One thing Townsend does, they told me, is for any major repairs, they actually raise money through the community. So they try to keep the costs down for the local community.
All right. Thanks, Robert.